Well, good afternoon, team. Thank you very much for joining this webinar, the Hound Up Progress Update. Team Wahoo are very, very happy to have our friends and stakeholders from the RSPCA. We made some great progress and we're excited to be able to discuss with you that progress and challenges, etc. Next slide, please, Hilton. So today, look, I know that some of you, especially from the RSPCA side, are new. So we're going to do a brief introduction of the team. Valerie's going to give us a brief reminder of the opportunity that we're chasing. I'm going to go through a brief executive summary and an update on our progress. Hilton's then going to take us through the proposed solution. So just to refresh our memories and also to run through what the solution entails again for those that are new. Josh is going to take us through the challenges, the ACNC recommendations that we've had as a recent review, and also the current schedule. And then we'll open the floor up to Q&A at the end. Next slide, please, Hilton. So look, we're Team Wahoo. We're a dedicated, passionate group of IT professionals. We are highly motivated to be working with the RSPCA. We all feel very strongly about animal rights. Myself there, I do the project management. Josh does the app development and the security. Hilton's our lead app developer. And Valerie looks after the user interface design. Next slide, please, Hilton. And this is Valerie's slides.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Scott. So as we all know, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, RSPCA, is an independent, non-government, community-based charity on a mission to prevent animal cruelty by proactively promoting protection and care. Now, as a charity, the RSPCA receive only little funding from the government, primarily depending on the support of the community, corporations, and public donations. Now, Team Wahoo has been presented with the business opportunity to investigate and design a useful mobile application that will benefit and support the charity. The team has prepared a prospective application called Hound Up. If you switch the slides, please, Hilt. The application will provide the community with an easy, incremental, and simplistic method to donate funds to the RSPCA without the need for upfront outlay of cash. In order to have an impact and have your message heard, organisations must keep pace with technological trends. And with over 75% of Australians forecasted to own a smartphone by 2022, we all thought a smartphone application is the best vehicle for this purpose. The project aims to increase awareness, engagement, and donations to allow RSPCA to provide its critical services to animals. The project schedule has been developed forecasting project tasks, major delivery milestones, review points, and a progress update will be presented. I'll hand it back to you, Scott. You want to take a look and give us an overview of the executive summary?
Sure can. Thanks, Valerie. So as Valerie mentioned there, the smartphone application will provide an easy method for patrons to donate. So what this sort of the term is there is micro donations. So rounding up of 40 cents, 60 cents, 20 cents, but doing that 10 times across a day will at the end of the month actually adds up to a significant amount. We're doing that by leveraging the increasingly popular smartphone payment systems such as Google Pay and Apple Pay. This donation method, the micro donations, it actually increases overall donations as the patrons donate small amounts more regularly rather than perhaps the model that the RSPCA use, which is approaching people to say, oh, can you give us $30 a month? People tend to evaluate that as more costly than just letting go of 60 cents, 40 cents, 20 cents after their transactions. So this is actually going to increase the amount of donations. As well as donations, the application will provide a unique way of communicating to patrons via obviously notifications about awareness of current campaigns, and also geolocated volunteering opportunities. So what we mean by that is if the person is in, say, Adelaide, for example, the application will detect that. And if they're in Adelaide for a few days or a week or so, they'll get a notification or a message saying, hey, there's opportunities to volunteer at this Adelaide shelter. Same as if that person then went to Perth for a month and worked, they get notifications about what's going on in Perth. It also, the application development approach we are using is a modern software development method called Agile. And this will ensure that we can rapidly develop the application within time, within budget, rapid feedback loop to you, and you can see early prototypes and incremental releases of the application, and it also reduces risk. We're also looking at integrating social media platforms so we can provide that extra growth and reach of RSPCA and the app. So through things such as badges, as hashtags, in general, what we call gamification of the donations. Let's go next slide, Hilton. So since we last spoke, we have achieved quite a bit actually, which has been great. So the application was approved for funding and development by you, the RSPCA board. Thank you very much, on the 21st of August. Valerie and her team have then been working on the first draft for the user interface design and storyboards. We sent those through to you for feedback, and you gave us some great feedback there. Thank you. We're now putting this into the second draft. The first Agile, what we call a sprint or a development period, we completed that, which is developed baseline functionality of the app, informed by those first user interface designs. Very importantly, we also had the design documents reviewed by the RSPCA legal team and the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission. They actually came back with some security and privacy concerns that we'll have to address. And this is anticipated to have an impact to the schedule, but I believe that Josh will update you about that a little bit later on. Let's go next slide, Hilt, and we'll go over to Hilton for the proposed solution.
Thanks, Scott. Currently, there's global commerce is 60% occurs on mobile. This is a massive opportunity that the RSPCA must take advantage of. In addition, as Valerie said, 75% of Australians will own a mobile phone by 2022. This is an excellent opportunity, and that's why we've opted to develop a smartphone application to increase donations. So this is a mock-up of our Hound-Up application. It'll be released in October for both Apple iOS on the App Store and on the Google Play Store for the Android platform. When paying for a movie, a pizza, for example, using your mobile phone, the Hound-Up app simply rounds up your transaction to another 20 or 50 cents, and that instantaneously gets donated to the RSPCA. This app is really easy to set up. Once you install the app, a few prompts, use your Touch ID to create a connection with Apple Pay or Google Pay, and your app's set up. No complicated withdrawal forms or long onboarding processes. It's a really easy setup that lowers the user barrier and increases usability. Just imagine, 50 cents might not sound like a lot, but imagine you have, for example, 180,000 people, the same amount of people that like the RSPCA Facebook account. If 180,000 people just donate 50 cents on a transaction, that's about $9,000 per month. So small change makes a big difference. Lastly, an app itself isn't enough. We need to utilize social media to grow the network and to grow the list of recurring donors to the RSPCA. So we'll be using all the big players, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, to encourage their friends and other people to get involved and install the app. Next, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Josh. Thanks, Josh.
Rightio. Well, based off what Hilton has just said, we plan to use the hashtag RSPCA Houndup across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to basically gamify the app. So if you move to the next slide. So we plan to have the patrons of the app to earn badges based on their interactions with social media. So this is based on, for example, if they share an event that's close to them or like an event that's close to them, they can earn points that go towards certain stages, which earns them a badge. So login is done through the app itself, so they can link their preferred social media accounts to the Houndup app itself. So no separate login is actually necessary. It's all done within the Houndup app. So implementing gamification within the Houndup app, will increase the activity of patrons with the app. So we'll bring people, keep people coming back. So if you go to the next slide, please, Hilton. So with every app, there is challenges. So first challenge is the General Data Protection Regulation. This is actually quite a topical point at the moment because of Facebook selling people's information. So privacy is very important to this app, and we have to make sure that we dot all our I's and cross all our T's, because we will be accessing people's information, and it's a very touchy subject. So the end user license agreement, we need to make sure that this covers everything and all the information is actually clear and concise, so that people who do use the app actually know what data we collect, why we collect it, and how we actually use it. So although we are an Australian organisation, RSPCA, we need to make sure that international compliance is considered in case, say, for example, someone's coming over here for a 3-month stay and they want to get involved in events or donate while they're here. So next slide, please, Hilton. ACNC has provided some recommendations. Basically, key points are we need to add additional security measures, provide stronger reporting, additional financial reporting for auditing purposes, and faster processing of opt-out options for the app, because the current 30-day opt-out process is a bit too long for their recommendations. Next slide, please, Hilton. So security. Fortunately, Apple Pay and Google Pay handle credit card information within their processes. So we don't really need to hold that information ourselves. We just need to apply that link. We need to make sure that other information regarding donors is safe though. So personal information and that sort of thing. We need to make sure that we conduct regular assessments on the security to ensure that any new risks are covered. And we need to make sure that there's a clear and up-to-date security incident response plan. Next slide. Thanks, Hilton. So schedule so far, we generally are on track with the 3 months development time and the recommendations given to us from the ACNC. We are expecting about a 3-week additional development time. So although we may run over the 24th of October schedule, our project manager is working on some ways to reduce the impact of those additional recommendations from ACNC. So I will hand it back to Scott, I believe.
Team Wahoo would like to thank everyone at the RSPCA for allowing us to engage in this exciting project and to do just a little bit extra for the little furry friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you.